talking through bigger brands that are using the cost per thousand model. And for people that are new to the sponsorship circle, let me just super quick just set up the difference for you. So the cost per thousand, the industry standard right now is called the CPM model, the cost per thousand model, which we actually have, that's our name, we named it. I mean, for the intents and purposes of this conversation, I don't know that if you go out and talk to other people and you go, so well, I'm working on the sponsorship formula versus the cost per thousand model, that they would know what you were talking about, but you're going to sound really smart if you do that. So go right ahead. But here's the difference. So the cost per thousand model, which is basically the industry standard, it is how people with 10,000 downloads per episode or more are monetizing their shows through ad agencies, big brands, people that are working and placing ads into shows in networks and in individual podcasts. But there are very specific requirements, and most of them have to do with those very high download numbers. And so at a cost per thousand, if you have 10,000 and the industry standard is $20 to $25, well, you can do the math on that. And as you scale up from there, those numbers look okay, right? But if you're one of those 9,999 downloads or less clients, which is the majority, hear me when I say this, the majority of active podcasts have significantly less downloads than 9,999, then you are going to be pushing a boulder up a mountain, trying to get the level of income that not only do you want to offset your production costs to put to your bottom line, but to shut down your podcast at pre-roll, mid-roll, and post-roll and compromise your content. Is it worth it if you're at that level for $20 to $23? Probably not. So what we talk about, and is why you're here today, is this whole alternate opportunity to monetize your show in 4 figures, 5 figures on up through non-traditional sponsorship methods like special segments, special series, bonus episodes, powered by all of those things. Okay, so that's like the educational piece of the two differences. Now to get to Jen's question, because I just want to make sure that everybody that's listening to this really does understand they're dramatically different strategies. If someone is already accustomed to buying a cost per thousand, they're likely in that ad agency mindset where they've got to check a lot of boxes. You have this many downloads, you have this many audiences, check box, check box, check box. Okay, you're good. And likely you may not meet those boxes, and they're not going to take the time, the energy, nor really the interest to think outside of the boxes that they need to check. So from a time and efficiency standpoint, unless they are really accessible and innovative, I would personally start having conversations with brands that want the access to the transformation of your audience, and doing that through ways that give them visibility and engagement and touch points inside your show and outside your show. Because those are interesting conversations to have with brands who get that marketing isn't just about a 50 second, 60-second live read inside a show. They're about seeing them in the show notes, hyperlinking, being able to be affiliated with the content, being able to be possibly guests on the show, being able to have their logo in high visibility places like reels and audiograms and visual episode graphics and things like that. Like, that's a mindset in a conversation that is completely different than price and cost per thousand. So where everybody is in this process, I'm not saying don't go after the Patagonias or the BetterHelps or the people that are already advertising in podcasts, because that's a natural tendency to want to do. But really think through the brands that you could have a conversation with, that you could literally have a conversation with that aren't looking at boxes to check.